Hey guys, so I'm back again after just 1 week this time, and I had said in my last video that probably uh, I'll be back when I enter the top 100k, and I was kind of expecting to enter the top 100k having activated my triple captainship, but yeah, it's been a terrific week. It's been a really, these are the weeks that determine your season, and yeah, so happy. At one point, I was so far back, somewhere around 5 millions, and from there to get into a position where you think that finally, you know, you are probably having a pretty decent season. So, I had mentioned in the last video that I may activate my triple captainship, and I had given my reasons, and those reasons are very much applicable at the deadline. So, my triple captainship was activated. It was on Marcus Rashford, and I'm recording this right after the United Leeds game. And Rashford with 2 goals and an assist, 3 returns over the two matches against Palace and Leeds. He has scored 20 points, which translates into 60 points for anybody who has triple captained him. Now, if we look at the numbers of last season, this is a bit less because most people had the triple captainship last season, if I remember, on Mo Salah. And I think Salah scored 25, 26, something like that. So that score was bigger. Some people played it on Kevin De Bruyne when he scored those 4 goals against Wolverhampton. So in comparison to that, this is 20 points is not huge. It's lesser than those scores, but this is my personal highest triple captain score ever. And yeah, I mean it's not been a very wise decision. I'd say it's a very normal decision. It's a decision that many people made. Rashford's effective ownership was somewhere around 200, so that says a lot of people saw the value in playing the triple captainship on him this week, and he has delivered. He has delivered. Now, I think next week, game week 23, we have another double game week, and I think those who did not play it on Marcus Rashford this week and were planning to preserve it for a future date, I think they're going to be forced. I mean, human psychology works that way. I'm very sure they're going to try and play it on Erling Haaland in game week 23, especially having seen, Rashford just getting 20 points and some people who have fallen back, 20 points straight away just for not activating their triple captainship in this week. So yeah, it remains to be seen if Haaland can outscore Rashford, which I'd say is very much possible because Rashford has been scoring hat tricks for fun at home. He plays Aston Villa at home in the first game. He scores a hat trick, that's 17 points, and then maybe he gets a return against Arsenal, and that's he has outscored Rashford, which would, but it's not a massive difference. If even if he gets like 25 points, those who triple captain Rashford are going to lose just 5 points on making this decision. But it was a very practical decision. At the same time, I would say pulling the trigger on something which you get for just one time throughout the season. It's a big decision, and to do that, to make the call for yourself, not because someone else is doing it. I think it's a decision which deserves a lot of credit. Anyone who played their triple captainship on Rashford, congratulations. It doesn't really matter. If Haaland outscores Rashford in game week 23, or someone else outscores Rashford in a double game week later on in the season, we have got the points on table, and the chip has been played successfully. That's all we can say. Okay, so I'm not going back to game week 18, 19, whenever it was City having a double game week against United and Spurs. Many people played their triple captainship in that particular week as well, including some big accounts, the big content creators, because they felt like he's nailed for both the games, which is a decision you can understand. But I mean, that is more like, you know we have Haaland and we have a double game week, and we may not have another opportunity like this in the future where he may be injured or something like that. There may be a fixture rush, or if he's rotated, rested. So they made that decision, and they scored 8 points. So we have actually gained 12 points over that, so which is not bad. 12 points is a decent bit. And yeah, I mean, overall, we have to say that the triple captainship has been played, and it's been played well. For me, like I said, this is my personal highest ever triple captain score. Last season, I had a bit of a disaster because it was not a disaster in terms of score, but the way I played it, it was a bit of a disaster because of course, the week where everyone captained Salah, I had my free hit active. So we had two free hits last season. So the first one I activated in game week 26. And because of that, of course, I could not play my triple captainship that week. And Salah had fixtures against Leeds and Norwich, and he ended up scoring big points. And so, but yeah, I mean, I did play if I remember, I think I played my free hit chip pretty well, and I matched the overall score that particular week. But later on in the season, when no one had triple captainship, I decided to play my triple captainship eventually in game week 37 on Everton had a double game week, and I decided to play it on Richarlison. What happened was, uh, it turned out to be a very good decision, but I pressed the triple captainship button, and I then forgot to confirm. So the triple captainship did not get activated, and yeah, I watched that game, those games, Everton playing. Uh, I don't remember who the two oppositions were, but I watched Richarlison score 20 points. I would have gained a lot of rank with that, but I ended up, his effective ownership to my memories was a little more than 100, so I kept on losing rank every time he scored a goal. So that was a bit of a disaster. Then, of course, I had no option. The last game week, the game week 38, I played my triple captainship on Son. Son was playing against Norwich. And, I mean, it was a single game week, but he ended up scoring, 2 goals. That was the week he came back from behind and matched Salah to win the Golden Boot. And, he looked like a man on a mission, and he scored 2 goals. And eventually, I don't remember exactly, it was 16 or 15, something like that. So I lost 4 or 5 points there. My rank could have been a little higher, but yeah, that's a lesson learned. So I was very determined to hit the confirm button firm and hard this time. And yeah, so we are done. We're done the triple captainship, and we're done with double game week 22. Other than the triple captain, my wild card played in game week 20 keeps on delivering points. I think, this has been a really, really good decision for me. Uh, Once again, I heard people saying, your team is not bad. Why should you play your wild card so early? And, why not preserve it for, later when there is going to be a situation where you're playing a bench post or you're taking your team out of a bench post. The wildcard chip is going to be much more useful in those situations. But I have never seen wildcard that way. I've always seen wildcard as a chip which is effective for a number of game weeks. So I have had 3 game weeks after playing my wildcard chip. I played it in game week 20. My rank at that time was 433, I think. Okay. So that was actually my highest rank so far at that time. Of course, I mean, and after that, every week, the 3 weeks after that, game week 20, 21, 22, I have had massive rank growths. Now tell me, if you're just playing your bench boost, or you're just pulling your team out of a bench boost where you have probably 5 or 6 game weeks left, can you get benefits like that from a wild card? I don't think that is possible. If I mean, of course, it can end up in a disaster because sometimes you pick players, they get injured, or sometimes you make decisions which don't come good. But this was a very, very tactical move on my part. I saw the opportunity. I saw, the Brighton guys capable of scoring big points. I saw, um, I did not have Harry Kane and I did not have Marcus Rashford. I needed them. That was a decision I did not get right with my initial team that I made in Game Week 17. I needed to correct those mistakes immediately. I could see Martinelli getting dropped, so I wanted Odegaard, and of course I did not have Odegaard in my wildcard team, but that's a different story. But I wanted to change Martinelli because I could see him delivering points, but not being as effective as he was before the World Cup. So those decisions went well, and there is perhaps only one decision that did not go that well, and that was having David Raya in my goal instead of Kepa. Kepa is hurting me really, really bad. Now, I went with Raya because he's a goalkeeper I love watching. He's an all action keeper who makes a lot of saves. But in 2 consecutive game weeks, he has made 5 saves. One more, and it would have been one more point. But anyway, uh, he has got 3 clean sheets in a row, same as Kepa. But the problem is Chelsea are making so many back passes, and he doesn't even need to make a lot of saves. I mean, he's not even making very difficult saves. It's been deflected shots and things like that. Uh, Mitrovic had a chip in the last game from halfway line. He saved that, and you know, no matter the quality of the save doesn't matter as long as you're making saves. You're going to score points, and that is what he's doing. He has a lot of successful passes as well, which helps in generating bonus points for a goalkeeper, and that is down to Chelsea passing the ball back so many times. And of course, Chelsea is a team which don't score a lot of goals. As soon as your striker scores a goal, I think the chances of your keeper getting all the 3 bonus points is very, very small, and that is just not happening. Chelsea players barely score any goals. And if I look at Chelsea's upcoming fixture, I think they're going to continue keeping a lot of clean sheets. Raya had 3 good fixtures and he kept clean sheet in all 3 of them. But you know the fixtures going forward are not that great. Like for example, this week they've got Arsenal. Now they're 100% they're going to concede against Arsenal. Chelsea are playing West Ham. I don't think Chelsea are going to concede against West Ham away from home. Then they've got Southampton. 25 they've got Spurs. Spurs are not scoring a lot of goals either. So if I look at Chelsea's fixtures, I mean they are going to have. I mean these fixtures are very, very good for defense right until game week 30. So, and of course, I mean they are not going to have a blank game week in 25 or 28 either. So which is not going to be the case with David Raya. He may get double game weeks, but those who are going to play the wildcards later on, they can very safely remove Kepa after he's done with his non-blank fixtures and good fixtures, and then you know, he's going to give it to someone who's a better pick. So this is a decision which is looking like not a great call, but then you cannot do anything about it. Uh, I mean, I went with a goalkeeper who's got 3 clean sheets in a row. He's got 7, 10, and 5, which is how much? 22. Kepa has got 9, 10, and 11, which is 31. 31 is it? 30. So, anyway, so it's 8 or 9 point gap straight away in spite of pretty much doing the same thing. So anyway, I'm not going to complain about that a lot. Raya has gained me a lot of rank. Those points that he scored, it's come really, really handy. And the 7 points this game week, which was great. Other than that, my defense, Luke Shaw, double game week. I did not really care about a Man United clean sheet, but his EO is not that high. If Man United had kept clean sheets in both their games, I think it would have definitely helped my rank a lot. They did not, but yeah, Luke Shaw had an assist. And if you have gone with some other Man United defender, it has probably not gone that well. But that is all about Luke Shaw. He's looking really good offensively. He gets into dangerous areas, and when he's in form, he delivers points. That's what he has done again. And United have got a difficult fixture run coming up, so he's probably going to get benched once or twice. But that is for another day, and if we enjoy the Luke Shaw 6 pointer, it feels like a clean sheet. Okay, so Trippier 2 points. Finally, Newcastle conceded a goal, and I celebrated because I do not have the second Newcastle defender, and many people do. Every time Newcastle, firstly, you don't gain anything from Trippier because he's so highly owned, and on the top of that, when they keep a clean sheet, it costs you rank straight away. Everyone has got either Pope or Botman or Dunk or Fabian Schär. I mean, these four guys, they're very highly owned as well. Only satisfaction that I have is people are probably going to have to sell them because Newcastle are blanking in 25. So I have to live with double Newcastle defense for at least 2 more weeks, and then hopefully uh, the effective ownership of that particular defense is going to come down. But yeah, finally they have conceded a goal, and I'm hoping they concede a few more in the coming weeks, especially in Gameweek 24 when they play Liverpool. Okay, so 2 points. I mean, he could have scored 20 and still it would have mattered absolutely nothing. So, Estupinan, the clean sheet against Bournemouth. No attacking returns, but so most of the template teams had Ben White, and this is where the differentiation starts because at Estupinan people had Ben White. Ben White scored how much? 2 points, I think. So I gained 4 points for having Estupinan in my team. And the huge differential, 3 returns in 3 weeks, delivering big points, and yeah, he's been wonderful. And double game week, blank game week 25 is still a couple of weeks away. So yeah, okay with that. My transfer in this week, Bruno Fernandes, 10 points in the first game, scored a penalty. I'm really liking this Bruno Fernandes, even though he's not scoring big points. I think he's very, very involved. Of course, with Eriksen's injury, he has the set pieces once again. He's finally scored a penalty after a very, very long time. And yeah, I'll probably be selling him this week. But I feel a bit, it just doesn't feel right to let go of him, looking at the way he's playing. So he got how much? 10 plus to 12 points. That's a pretty good return on the transfer, especially when I sold Kevin De Bruyne for him, who just scored 1 point. And that is fine. Odegaard blanked against Everton. Arsenal looked really poor in that game. They were manhandled. They were just physically not up for it. It looked like the Arsenal of old days, where you have some really talented young players who simply couldn't deal with the physical game that Everton hit them with, and it just looked like it's going to be Tarkovsky scoring from a corner, and that is exactly what happened. Everton defense is something we should be looking at in the coming game weeks whenever we have the opportunity. But anyway, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, none of them scored many points this week. Martinelli came off in the 57th or 58th minute, which is something I'd say was coming. He has been. I don't think he's played bad. It's just that he's got a very decent competition for his spot right now. And he has been wide a bit ever since Zinchenko has come in. Zinchenko is a midfielder. He's playing left back at Arsenal like he was playing left back at City. but his natural position is in around the box, so he goes inside, and which is kind of forcing Martinelli wide. But yeah, he has been threatening. I think he's a pretty good dribbler. He picks up the ball. He likes running at the right back, the right centre back, and he has been winning a lot of corners and things like that. But FPL points have not been coming. How many blanks is it? I think 4 or 5 blanks in a row. And if he's going to come off early, then you know better get rid of him. I was lucky. I played my wildcard and I sold him for the highest possible value, uh, and I gained uh, all the gains I had. In terms of the pricing that uh, I think he was 6 when the season started. I sold him for 6.8, so I got 6.4. Anyone selling him right now would probably get 6.3, something like that. But still, I think he has to go. In my opinion, Odegaard, Saka, much better options. And Ketia, probably Arsenal defense as well. There are 4 or 5 players I think who are better. You need an Arsenal triple up. There are 4 or 5 players who I think are better than him. Okay, so especially this coming game week on Arsenal have a double game week. Uh, Kauro Mitoma, once again the man delivers. Wow, and with a header. And people said he was lucky because he scored a goal from a header. I watched highlights of that game and I thought he was on absolute fire once again. I could not notice which player it was. Probably it was Adam Smith, I think. I mean, there was this clip which kind of went viral on YouTube. Mitoma went past him, he dropped down to his knees, Adam Smith, and then he tried to grab his shirt and failed at that. I mean, that is how good Mitoma was in that game once again. And I'd say 11 points, you know, he could have got, if he could have scored much more than that. And you know, it is a very, very difficult FPL call because I went with him early, I got the points. But you are watching this guy playing such wonderful football week after week, and he's so well priced. And still, you have got game week 25 in your sights. You don't want to waste your free hit in that particular game week, and because of that, you cannot bring this guy in. Now he has got just 2 more games left. I mean, it's a difficult call, but I have made huge gains with him. 6 points against Liverpool. Last week against Leicester, he scored 10. He created so many chances. He created probably one of the easiest chances this season that have been missed. Solly March, missing that chance against Leicester. That would have been another 3 points. He's creating chance after chance and he's scoring goals. There's some players, you look at someone like Rafinha or uh, there are many players who have over the years they've come into the league. They are pretty good dribblers. They take on players well, but their end product is not there. Sometimes they're making the passes well, but they're playing in a team which is incapable of finishing those chances. Mitoma is a I mean he's not just a very very good dribbler and a very very good football player and a very very good passer. He's a terrific finisher as well. He can finish with his left foot, right foot. I think this is the second goal he has scored with his head. He's a complete package, and this guy, whenever Brighton sell him, I think they're going to make a lot of money. And whichever club buys him, I think they've got a real star for the future. And like every week, I've been saying, he is the second best player in Asia right now, and I'm so happy I have him in my FPL team. So yeah, big points from Mitoma once again. Big rank gains, very low owned still. Then of course Rashford, triple captain, 20 points. Captain was 40 points. Triple captain was 60 points. Amazing. He was my highest rank gainer this week, which is not surprising. I actually looked at some of my mini leagues, and a lot of people have decided not to play the triple captains this week, which is kind of surprising. Uh, because overall, when I'm looking at the game, I think a lot of people actually played the triple captainship this week. but not in my mini leagues. Uh, so that is probably why I made a lot of ranking in my mini leagues as well. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it looks like a player who's absolutely transformed himself in the last few weeks. And he's a good guy. He plays for Man United. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I admire Marcus Rashford, and I feel happy to see him succeed. He's finally delivering the promise that he showed early on in his career, and um, he's doing so well. Okay, so who else? Who else did I have? Maris. Maris 1 pointer. De Bruyne got a 1 pointer. We were happy, Maris owners. And then Pep decides to bring him off in the 57th minute. And I'm like, why? I mean, I watched that game in the first half. It didn't look like Maris did anything wrong. He looked like one of the better players in that game against Spurs. And he had a shot coming absolutely crashing off the crossbar, underside of the crossbar. That shot could have easily, gone in, and suddenly, you know, we are looking at Riyad Mahrez scoring big points against Tottenham Hotspur yet again. But just because that shot did not go in, suddenly Pep decides to bring him off. I mean, Pep has been taking some strange decisions. I really did not understand the logic behind benching Kevin De Bruyne. And just because your team is playing against a defense that has three centre backs, is it justified to bench your best player? I don't think so. But yeah, it's. I mean, there's something wrong at City right now. We know there is something wrong, but other than that, also I'd say tactically, in terms of heads being in right areas, in terms of the manager and player coordination. I think Rodri had such a poor game. I don't think I've seen Rodri putting up a worse performance than this in his Man City career so far. Things are not looking great for City. And yeah, I mean, Haaland did not have Haaland scored 2 points. He did not have a single touch in the Tottenham box, which is not surprising because he generally, when he touches the ball, he likes to score. But that is not great for your team. And yeah, I mean, he scores a lot of goals, but I've said this before. I don't think he has the work rate. And in many teams, it's not going to work. City create a lot of chances, that's why he scores a lot of goals. At any other team, for example, if he's playing for Liverpool, I don't think he gets that many goals. So, yeah, 2 points from him. I'm sure some people would have been scared enough to have captained him this week as well. And we Rashford captain us, triple captain us again. And that is how I play FPL. Harry Kane. I mean, this is a decision which I thought was a bit of a blunder from some people. Some big accounts once again hyping up Harry Kane to be sold for Neonto or uh, even Bamford and Ketia, and they kept Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, that decision eventually could make up points, but Harry Kane is playing so well, and he's like the guy who's single-handedly rescuing Spurs every week. He has been almost as consistent as Haaland, and for some reason people have sold him off this week, and he comes off with an 8 pointer. Now that does not look that bad because Neonto has ended up scoring 11 points. He has outscored Kane. So unless you have taken a hit, you have actually gained 3 points there. But going forward, I think Harry Kane, is one of the most important players in the game. He has to be there. But I don't mind, of course. I mean, people selling him gains me rank because if he's not injured, I think he's a season keeper for me. He's going to be there. Spurs have such good fixtures as well. In Gameweek 23, Kane has got Leicester City, one of his favorite opponents. Leicester conceded 2 goals to Villa in the last game. They scored 4, which generally means that they're going to come at Spurs as well, probably, which means the points to Kane from the likes of Kane, Son, Kulusevski. But yeah, I mean, I did not understand this decision at all. Just for the sake of a double game week, you're letting go of one of the best assets in the game. So I scored 8 points from Kane, and yeah, overall 117 points. I mean, it's a huge week. I was expecting, many people to cross 100, but I'm not seeing that many numbers. In my mini leagues, I'm seeing, even people who have played the triple captain chip. Most of them have crossed 100, but some of them have not. So, in a week where everyone has 100 plus points, scoring that is like, I mean, you don't feel much, but in a week where not many actually have scored 100 points, it's a great feeling. So I've jumped up my rank from 133k in Gameweek 21 to 30k, which is, really, really, amazing. I had, I was 400k down from here a few weeks back when I played my wildcard. In 3 weeks, I have gone up from 433k to 30.5k, which is an insane jump in my opinion. Because I mean, this kind of jumps you can expect when you are down, you know, at 2 million, 1.5 million in rank. But at this space, it's a very, very good outcome after playing my wildcard, I'd say. Of course, I'm expecting things to go a bit down from here because, like I'd mentioned in my last video as well, I'm not going to have three Arsenal and three City players in Game Week 23. I mean, I right now have two City players and one Arsenal player, and I have only one free transfer, so I can, without taking a hit, I can just go to four players instead of six that most people are going to have. I may take a hit. Now, the player that I'm targeting, because most people who sold off Kevin De Bruyne last week for Fernandes, they're going to go back at De Bruyne. Some may not, because they may be scared that De Bruyne could get benched once again, which I don't think is going to happen. Pepe said that it was a completely tactical decision, and De Bruyne, I'm completely expecting De Bruyne to start and play significant minutes in both the games. But like I said, I'm not really feeling Man City right now. I think there are several issues in that team and in that squad. Kevin De Bruyne is a player we all love, but ever since he has come back from the World Cup, I don't know if he has actually missed some training due to some personal reasons as well. I don't know what's going on, but he has just, it's not like he has played bad or his output has not been great. It's just that he just feels like, he's looking like he's angry, and uh, he's a bit frustrated. He's, you know just there. He himself is not feeling the game. He's not involved a lot with, he's involved with the football on the pitch, but he's not involved with what's going around him. And I don't know what's going on, but I judge people. I'm a writer, so I judge people a lot from body language, and his body language for me has not looked happy, and it's not looked great, and that is just not ideal for Man City. And they have had quite a few players not delivering points. I don't understand why they got rid of Cancelo, because as good as Rico Lewis has been, Nathan Ake has been, they are not Joao Cancelo. And I think getting rid of Cancelo diminishes them significantly in terms of their attacking output. And their defense has been leaking goals as well. Lewis is still a young lad. Kyle Walker, I don't rate him very highly. I've never rated him very highly. I think their centre back partnership is all over the place in some games. Akanji and Stones have played some games. In some games, it's been Akanji and Laporte. Laporte is another player who I feel like, he has done well for them in the past, and suddenly it looks like he's not in favor. And I think the biggest display of madness was Rodri having such a poor game, and I can assure you, Rodri is one player. You take Rodri out of Man City, they're done. I don't think they're going to uh, be as effective as they are. So he had a poor game. I don't think there are many issues with him. It may just have been fatigue or just a one game thing. But I mean, the formation is not right. They're changing and chopping every game. The players that I have from Man City are Haaland and Mahrez. Haaland is a player, of course. I'm very sure his effective ownership is going to be well over 200. So I'm going to lose rank even after captaining him. I'm going to lose rank every time he scores. So scores points, not score goals. I don't want him to score goals. So, and other than that, I have Mahrez, who looked like City's best player. He has been City's best player since the World Cup. In last two games, he has come off early without any reason whatsoever. I think he has played really well. And I just read a comment from a City fan who, in one of their pages, he mentioned that Pep just does not like Mahrez individually because he has to be 10 on 10 every game. If he's 9 on 10, Pep is going to pull him out. And that exactly looked like what happened when he took Mahrez off after 57 minutes against Spurs, because I thought Grealish and Bernardo Silva, they had really, really poor games. Even Haaland had such a poor game. And in spite of all that, it was Mahrez who came off. And that can happen. I'm not, if I have a transfer in hand, and I don't have money, I'm definitely not going to waste a transfer in Riyad Mahrez, because I don't think he starts both the games. I won't be surprised if he does not start either of the two games. It could be, Rodri, Gundogan, and De Bruyne in midfield. Alvarez on the right wing, Bernardo Silva on the right wing, Grealish on the left. Grealish looks like a player Pep suddenly really, really likes, in spite of him not doing much. But Pep is Pep. He understands better than most of us FPL managers do. Um, but yeah, I'm not really confident about Maris, and if it was not a double game week, I'd probably I'd think about even selling him this week. But he has a double game week, so I'll keep him. And here, I mean, Maris and Haaland are going to be my two City assets. I still believe if you have to buy someone from City, it has to be Kevin De Bruyne, because yeah, he's probably going to get benched here and there occasionally. Now, the thing with buying City assets is that City have two very good fixtures coming up in game 24 and 25. Now, I'm expecting that game against Nottingham Forest. I'm expecting City to change their entire. I won't be surprised. If you have three City players in your team and all three of them are benched, because that fixture falls right in between Arsenal, one of their most important games this season, and then they've got Champions League, so they're going to rotate crazily in that Nottingham Forest game. So yeah, I mean, right now I'm looking at bringing in Bukayo Saka. I don't have Saka. I have Odegaard. So Saka is somebody I'm definitely going to bring in place of Bruno Fernandes. And I'm thinking about taking a hit this week. And that hit is probably going to be, I have Matt Doherty. And for game 24 and 25, where I believe there is going to be a lot of benching, and of course 25 is a blank. We need a bench. We need all 11 players available for us to, probably put out 11 players in that particular week, or at least 10 in game week 25. And so I'm probably going to sell Doherty, and I'm still thinking I may bring in Zinchenko. Gabriel looks like the uh, better option. He's much more nailed. Zinchenko, I'm not sure he's going to play both the games. But yeah, uh, I actually have now double game 25 has been announced as well. Liverpool, Arsenal, Wolverhampton, and Everton, double there. And yeah, so I'm not going to plan so far ahead, But I looked at my options, and one of the options that I actually liked, I was 0.1 million short on that. So, and that kind of gets solved if Mitrovic doesn't fall in price before the game week, before I transfer him out in game week 24 or 5. And of course, if I bring in Zinchenko instead of Gabriel, but if I transfer in Gabriel, I have to let go of that move entirely. So that is a decision to be made, and we'll see what happens. I'm not going to make my transfers before Saturday this week. And other than that, there is a big benching dilemma as well, which I don't like. It is, I'll probably have to bench one between Kauro Mitoma and Mitrovic once again. I mean, that is there pretty much every week, but Mitrovic has had a few difficult fixtures recently, but this week he plays Nottingham Forest and at home. So, how do I not play him in that? Why do I have him in my squad if I'm not going to play him against Nottingham Forest at home? Fulham have not scored in the last two games. Mitrovic himself has not looked great. He has looked injured at times. He has not been physically at it. He has not been running well, and at the same time, I've got a player who has delivered for me big points in 3 consecutive weeks. Kauro Mitoma, how do I not play him against Palace? And Palace have defensively not been great, especially on that left wing, their right side of defense. Joel Ward, I don't rate Joel Ward. Uh, if they play in Nathaniel's line, he's a little bit better, but they have to contain him, and it's difficult. People are finding it difficult to contain him. And Brighton are actually pretty good in their away games as well. So at the moment, in spite of uh, so much connection with him, I'm benching Mitoma, and I don't like it, but I probably have to do it. And it's going to be a late call. It's a head versus heart. My heart says Mitoma. Play him, just play him. Uh, Loyalty factor, and I mean, maybe he plays really really well, and he just blanks for this one particular week, and then next week definitely I'm going to play him once again. I'm hoping for that. But yeah, I could just eventually give away, and I may just start him instead of Mitrovic. That can happen. So anyway, I'm expecting a little rank drop because a lot of triple captain chips are going to be active. If I take a hit, I'm going to start on -4 points. I'm not going to have three each of Arsenal and Everton. I may not have Mitoma. So there are quite a few question marks going into Game Week 25, Game Week 23. Then 24 is interesting, you know, in between Champions League and things like that. I'm expecting some rotation. No one knows what happens. 25, of course, I'm going to have a few blanks in my team as things stand, and we'll see how transfers go. But I think the biggest priority for everyone right now to, as quickly as possible, have three Arsenal players in your squad. I think this is the anyone who has listened up to this much, that is the best tip I can give. And do that as soon as possible, because later on people are going to be already tripled up on Arsenal, and make sure one of those three is not Gabriel Martinelli, because people are going to correct that mistake eventually, but still in next 2-3 weeks it's not going to be that easy. The three that I'm going to suggest are Gabriel. I think he's nailed. Gabriel and Nketiah, I think, are you know both are pretty decent picks. Jesus, I think, is, I just read somewhere that he's near, is nearing his he's getting back on the pitch very soon. So from there, it probably is going to take some more weeks. And Nketiah is playing really well, so I like Nketiah in FPL. And yeah, in midfield, Saka, Odegaard. These are the two guys you got to have. And then you pick, either you go triple attack or you cover the defense. So yeah, I mean, these are three long-term picks in my opinion. And so yeah, this is it then. Uh, Once again, it's 45 minutes. Wow, it's going to take me quite a while to upload this.